Thank you for tuning in to Investment Insight presented by McCay Wealth Advisory. I'm Mark Seymour, and today joining us is Brent McCay. And today the question is, what are some good questions to ask your financial advisor?
That's a great question, Mark. So some of the questions that we hear often, and that we think are good questions, which I know is a little biased maybe, is what is your strategy on investing? You want to make sure that you have a strategy for investing, what's your plan. If you want a day trading advisor, find a day trading advisor. If you want somebody that's trying to manage risk through bonds and stocks, ask that question. Do you have specific goals for the individual, or do you just do the same strategy for everybody? We've seen advisors that have the same strategy for an 18-year-old as an 80-year-old. That really doesn't seem appropriate to me, so I would ask that question. What low-cost products do you have available? Are you selling a lot of annuities or insurance products that may have some higher commissions on them? Do I need to be aware what those are? And that's one big question is, how do I get paid? Are you a fiduciary? Do you get paid a percentage of assets? Do you charge by the hour? Do you get commissions? Do you get back-end payments? Do you get trips? Do you get revenue sharing? These are things you need to ask. What's the expense ratio of the product of the funds? How does the advisor get paid? One of the other big questions is who holds my money? We always think about Bernie Madoff and how he was referred by a major firm, and the people that referred him actually they got their money back. The people that just wrote him a check got a much lower percentage of the money back from when I read on the trustee. So who holds the money? Clearly we hold our money at Charles Schwab. So we work for the client, but we don't own Charles Schwab.
Right.
And we don't have the money to insure Charles Schwab, and no advisor does. So make sure, with the rise of different scammers and schemers out there, that you're getting independent, third-party statements on your investment accounts to make sure that it looks and is correct. And another big one is, what kind of customer service should I expect? How often do you want to meet with your advisor? And how often can they meet with you? What kind of capabilities do they have? How many customers do you typically work with? If you were to die, what's your business continue anyway? Who's going to be the one that replaces you? That's a big one to ask. And then, do you offer any kind of additional services? Do you help with tax planning? Do you help with estate planning? Obviously our firm, we're not lawyers, we're not accountants, but one of the big things we offer is we will work with your accountant and lawyer to make sure you have success, as well as other professionals. And so those are some good questions to ask. I really think the investment strategy, the fees, how they get paid, what are their incentives, are ones you definitely don't want to forget.
Yeah, thank you for the information. Those are great questions, and thank you for tuning in. We'll see you again next time on Investment Insight.